It's 1:30. I'd like to call the meeting of the January 19, 2018 Traffic and Transportation Commission to order. Roll call, Commissioner Clare. Here. Commissioner Littlefield. Here. Commissioner White. Not available. Commissioner Hale. Here, sir. Commissioner Schuline. Here. Commissioner Miller. Not available. Commissioner George. Here. And Commissioner Milner.
Here.
Thank you. Let the record state that our new traffic commissioner at large, Mr. Milner, took his oath earlier this week, so he is sworn in. He's good to go. Welcome to the Traffic Commission, sir. Okay, we go on now to item 2, approval of the minutes of the December 18, 2017 meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner George. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hale. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of December 18, 2017 from Commissioner George, seconded by Commissioner Hale. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, item is approved. We have the report on license and taxi and record services for October, November, and December.
Afternoon, Commissioners. This is on the fourth quarter, the end of the year. A little busy, actually, for usually November through December, stuff slows down, but what we lost in taxi companies, we've picked up medical transport, so we're still staying pretty busy. So this is the numbers for the last 3 months. Taxis, we have 25 new drivers, 33 renewed, 1 exempt. The exempt's the guys that come in later because they forgot to get the additional license through the umbrella company. And 1 replacement. Vehicle inspections had 17 passed, had 1 complaint. Limousines, 8 new, 3 new. Vehicle inspections, 3. 1 investigation on limos. On carriages, had 2 new, 3 new on the driver's permits. On pedicabs, 6 new drivers, 14 renewed, and 4 inspections on pedicabs. Had 3 investigations and 8 citations written. Pedicabs are bring in a lot of outside drivers that are not permitted, so many of the companies got caught through Bricktown Station. So a lot of citations were issued. I've been kind of busy with the pedicabs this year. So shuttles have 7 new drivers and 12 renewed drivers, 3 exempts, 1 replacement, and 7 vehicle inspections passed on that. That's about it. Been a little busier than expected, this last year. So. Any questions?
Anybody have anything? All right. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Okay, we go on now to item 4, the consent docket. Do we have anybody here that wishes to speak against the item that's on the consent docket? Okay, can I have a motion concerning the consent docket?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve from Commissioner Hale. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Schuline. Any discussion? We have a motion to approve the consent docket from Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Schuline. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, item is approved. We go on now to individual items. 5A, Colin Beatty, to consider a request to relocate a reserved parking space for the physically disabled parking on the south side of Northwest 27th Street from a location approximately 64 feet west to 80 feet west of the west curb line of North Clausen Boulevard to approximately 127 feet west to 143 feet west of the west curb line of North Clausen Boulevard. Do we have anybody here to speak on item 5A? Okay, can we have staff input, please?
Okay, in summary, what you've got is an application to relocate a previously approved parking space for the physically disabled. This was approved in conjunction with 90-degree angle parking, which was approved by the Commission and subsequently by the City Council. This item was first presented to the Commission in August of last year. Since the relocation doesn't alter the location nor the dimensions of the setback parking area as previously approved, the number of accessible spaces remains in compliance with ADA requirements. We're going to recommend approval of the request as presented.
All right. Do we have a motion concerning item 5A?
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve item 5A from Commissioner Littlefield. Do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second from Commissioner George. Any discussion? Okay. We have a motion to approve item 5A from Commissioner Littlefield, seconded by Commissioner George. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, item is approved. We go on now to item 5B, E. O'Neill Robinson, P.E., Cardinal Engineering, to consider a request for a traffic signal at South Sooner Road and State Highway 77H and Southeast 77th Street. Do we have anybody here to speak on this item? Boyd, would you like to speak? You're the only one that has something. You're the only one that has. Does the applicant want to speak? Is there anybody else that wants to speak? Okay, it's all you, sir.
Good afternoon. Boyd Fulton, 8508 Canyon Trail Drive. I'm right underneath 83rd Street. I'm right out of shot of that pic right there. Just like I did in July about the proposed stop traffic signal just south of this location. I'm completely against this one, even more than that one. Simply because of the fact that there's the traffic volume during the peak hours of the day, 7 to 6:30 to 8, and in the morning, and at 5 to 6:30 in the evening, it's just unbelievable. And this one, it's even worse because of the close proximity between the eastbound off-ramp of 240, and this light will be literally about 200 feet from when you get off the off-ramp. It's just, the traffic in this area is so bad. You got 10,000, 20,000 cars coming from Tinker, leaving, going from Tinker. This is the main area. There's no frontage road from basically Sunny Lane to Sooner because it ends where the hospital is. I wanted to make a recommendation if we could table this so staff could get with ODOT to figure out some way to fix this problem. I mean, even in ODOT's letter to staff, it said, let's see, yeah, you guys have this. State Highway 77H currently experiences delays and queues in this area during peak hours due to the proximity of the I-240 ramp. The addition of another signalized intersection would potentially worsen impacts to State Highway 77H. And down here, one of the recommendations says, was there consideration given to placing a signal at Southeast 77th Street and providing an interconnect to the 240 ramp signals? That's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting something to be done so we can connect these two, because right now, this will be horrific for us who travel this every day. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wanted to speak on this item? All right, sir, if I could have your name, address, you have up to 5 minutes, and please fill one of these out when you're done.
My name's Todd Butler. I'm with Traffic Engineering Consultants, 6000 Southwestern, Oklahoma City. I'm here representing Cardinal Engineering and the Oklahoma Heart Hospital. As you all will recall, this traffic signal was previously approved and submitted to ODOT for review and approval as well. Since that time, we've had 2 meetings with ODOT to discuss the issue and the location of the traffic signal. It was ODOT's contention that they believed that the location would be better at Southeast 77th rather than the location to the south. Further analyses were done by both ODOT and TEC to confirm that with regards to the interconnect between the existing signals, and ODOT is in concurrence with the location at this intersection at 77th.
Okay, thank you. And you already filled out a form for us? All right, thank you.
I'll be here to answer any questions, too.
Okay, very good, thank you. Anybody else wanted to speak on this item? All right, can we have staff input, please?
Sure. I'm just going to read a little bit to you from the staff report because I need to summarize some things that have gone on in the past. So at its meeting on July 17th of 2017, the Commission considered and approved basically a nearly identical request submitted on behalf of the Oklahoma Heart Hospital for a traffic signal on Sooner Road, approximately 405 feet south of Southeast 77th Street. The Commission voted and approved the request. It was forwarded to ODOT's Traffic Engineering Division. As Mr. Butler mentioned, there were two subsequent meetings with ODOT staff, and it was ODOT staff, their Traffic Engineering Division, that recommended that they look at a location other than the driveway proposed on Sooner Road. And so what they've proposed is moving it to Southeast 77th Street, which is closer to I-240 and its off-ramps. However, the Southeast 77th Street location would serve more users on Sooner Road. The applicant has submitted a traffic signal warrant analysis. In this particular location, Southeast 77th Street meets the 3 traffic-based warrants, the 8-hour, the 4-hour, and the peak hour warrant. The original location met the peak hour warrant only, and Southeast 77th also meets the collision experience warrant. So in recognition of those things and commitment from the applicant, as indicated in the letter, that they would, through their construction entity, Super West Building, LLC, that they've committed to bearing the responsibility for all costs associated with the design and construction of the requested traffic controls, development and implementation of coordinated signal system timing plans, and the construction of all roadway improvements as generally identified on the draft intersection plan sheet provided by the applicant. So that action on this item is going to be at the discretion of the Commission, but if motion is made to approve the request, the motion needs to include the items that's recommended by staff in your summary of staff recommendations. If you've got any questions on the matter, happy to answer.
All right, thank you. Do you have a motion concerning item 5B?
Motion to approve with staff recommendations.
We have a motion to approve item 5B from Commissioner Hale to include staff recommendations. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Schuline. Okay, any talk on this item? I got one question for you, sir, if you could. After the last time I went out there and I drove around, why don't we want to flow traffic to Sunny Lane and keep it away from Sooner? All the hospital traffic, take that outer road that's there and move everybody to Sunny Lane and put a light there.
Well, there's an existing intersection there at 77th, and the hospital is actually closer to that intersection. And historically, all their patients are more familiar with that location as well. There's still discussion about that driveway to the south and their expansion of the parking. And if that goes in, they'll have additional access, although it will not be signalized down there.
Right. And then after our last meeting, I believe I saw in the news, you're going to add on to the hospital itself to the west?
The hospital has a project, and that's what initiated all of this study to begin with, to expand the hospital, yes.
Right. And what is the concept of the extra vehicle traffic flow for that?
That's included in our study analysis. With the addition of that new traffic was included.
And you think that even the new hospital portion that would go west of your current building?
There will be some that goes west, and there will be some that goes east. Yeah, it was distributed both ways as far as our study was concerned.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So the extra traffic from what you have right now, with the add-on that you're going to have to the hospital, you're projecting probably half and half. Half will go to Sunny Lane?
Approximately, yeah. We did distribute at all locations available to the hospital.
Okay. All right, thank you for your time. Any other talk on item 5B? Yes, sir.
I'd like to learn more about, I can understand Mr. Fulton's concern. I'd like to know more about how that light would work if the light to the north of it and it were synchronized, great. But if people are coming and going in and out of that hospital and that light would be triggered, I'm assuming, to turn green for those folks, what is that going to do to the exit there on I-240? What's it going to do to that traffic? Like, let's say that the two lights are mostly green, the traffic is flowing, it's getting off of I-40, everything is going southbound very well. But now you've got like 10 people in a row that are trying to exit the hospital back onto Sooner Road. How is the signaling going to work and compensate for the backup on those other two lights?
Well, the phasing and the timing of the signals will have to be worked out. We have initially developed the phasing and timing based on our analysis work and ODOT's analysis work, but typically what we will do is, once this new signal gets installed, we'll install that initial timing, and then we go out and watch and monitor the traffic and adjust the phasing and timing accordingly. We would expect that when the Southeast 77th Street traffic enters Sooner Road, then we would try to add an advance or a release of traffic on that signal at the ramp to provide them movement into the traffic stream. So it's going to be a combination of different things during different times of the day. We'll probably have 3 or 4 different timing plans depending on time of day and the amount of traffic at those locations.
When folks are exiting I-240, what would you estimate the time period be that there could be a constant flow of traffic coming off of that exit ramp?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Let's say it's 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Okay, you've witnessed the stacked cars on that exit ramp.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you expressed that the last
Yeah,
time.
I mean, sometimes you sit there for 2 light generations before you can turn.
But what would be the duration of time? Like from 4:30 to 6 p.m., do you witness that constant?
Yes.
Because-
Well, I'd say from 5 to 6.
So an hour.
Yeah. One thing I do want to add, if y'all approve this light here, there's no other light like this off 240. I went and drove from May all the way out, back east. No other light is like this because this will be so close to 240. The nearest one like this is the one at Santa Fe, where the light is between Walmart and Lowe's, or I think it's Lowe's. But that's about 800 feet or 900 feet from the intersection. This is less than 400 feet, 350. It's even closer to the people going south off 240. So it's just this will be unprecedented. It's going to be a nightmare for people who live south of 240 off Sooner. Most of these neighborhoods were here before the hospital. You know, it's such a weird place to put the hospital, and I'm not blaming the hospital, but I mean, we have no frontage road from Sunny Lane to Sooner. The egress and ingress off of westbound is perfect off 240. You take the Grant, then you go into a 2-lane road, 4-lane road. So it's a nightmare. Thanks.
Well, one of the things we talked about the last time was, is there a way we could get 2-lane exit off of 240? That was talked about. Because right now, when you exit 240, it's 1 lane until you get right to the intersection, correct? Then it gives you two lefts and a right. Correct. But going up the ramp, it's one car.
And that's the reason I asked if we could table this and see if we could get with ODOT to see what they're going to do. When we got the city got with ODOT and they reconfigured Choctaw Road. Why can't they figure out what to do with this? This is far worse than that.
So would there be a possible solution on that off-ramp?
Well, I do want to remind you that we did get with ODOT, and these are ODOT's recommendations to locate this signal at this intersection. We've had 2 different meetings. They conducted their analyses, and this was their decision to move the approved signal to this location.
All right. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion on item 5B? Okay, we have a motion to approve item 5B from Commissioner Hale to include the recommended staff comments, seconded by Commissioner Schuline. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, item is approved. Okay, we go on now to 5C, Greg Little, Construction Project Manager, City of Oklahoma City Public Works, to consider a request to remove a commercial and passenger loading zone on the east side of South Oklahoma Avenue, located approximately 265 feet north to 320 feet north of the north curb line of East Reno Avenue. Do we have anybody here to speak on item 5C? First of all, from Public Works. Anybody from Public Works right off the bat? We'll have you go first. You're the applicant. If I can have your name, address.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Brett Cabanis with Cabanis Engineering. I'm here representing Mr. Little. He's unavailable today. I'm the design engineer for project MB0051. This project is before you is to remove a lay-by or a temporary parking stall or drop-off point adjacent to the Kingman building on the south side of the Bricktown Canal, the original construction Bricktown Canal along Oklahoma Avenue. The project, the Public Works project that's associated with this request is to do ADA compliant repairs along the sidewalks and crosswalks from essentially Reno Avenue north to Main Street, with the additional lighting through there for security purposes. But primarily this project is for ADA compliance. There was an ADA audit done on the original Bricktown area several years ago, and this is the last portion of those recommendations to repair the ADA issues along through here. This, the lower picture that you see here is the location we're asking for the removal of that lay-by. You can see the pedestrian walking in that crosswalk right there. That's existing ramp and crosswalk that brings people from the east side of the canal walkway to the west side. Does not currently meet ADA guidelines. With the proposed improvements, we do meet the ADA guidelines for that. The challenge is when someone is parked in that commercial loading zone, ADA disabled people in wheelchairs are not able to see around the parked vehicles there, and so it creates a safety issue for the pedestrians walking through there, or in this case, a wheelchair-bound person walking through, rolling through that intersection. We tried several different configurations on how to keep that lay-by at that location. None of them would meet current ADA guidelines. The Oklahoma City ADA compliant officer was with us when we went out and did the design walkthrough, and he has approved our design as we have it proposed. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, we have two other people signed up to speak. Does everyone like to come up? If I could have your name, address, you have up to 5 minutes.
Tom Rychecki, 2913 Persimmon Creek, Edmond, Oklahoma. I represent the property owner directly to the east, the Kingman building. We manage the property on their behalf. We have 3 retail tenants in this building currently right now that use it for deliveries all during the day. We have a charter high school that is on the 3rd floor that uses it to drop off students and pick up students in the morning. And then starting in August, we'll have a charter elementary school on the 2nd floor that will be using this drop-off area to pick up and load kids up. The other area that vendors use to drop off supplies is the alleyway. The alleyway can get congested at times, get backed up. We've also used this area for handicapped people to visit the building, since the ADA ramp going into the Kingman building is located right there. So I would ask either for a variance or to not approve it. To my knowledge, there's never been an incident at this crosswalk due to the loading zone being right there. I know some of the other buildings around it use it. I just don't think it's appropriate at this time.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Oh, just a second, let's have somebody else. Okay? Sir, if I can have your name, address, and you have up to 5 minutes.
My name is David Southard, 2624 Northwest 27th Street, Oklahoma City. I am here representing Bourbon Street Cafe. Been there 18 years. The cutout has been there about 17 years. I don't think there's ever been an incident involving the cutout. I actually, in 2001, asked for that because of the need of all types of people, but specifically people to be able to drop off with the parking in Bricktown the way it is. It's beneficial for that area. There's no other place to drop off people. I read that it's the street is 18 feet wide, and that allows people traffic to continue versus potentially blocking traffic. And that's what I have.
All right, thank you very much. All right, sir, did you want to say something?
Just to address their concerns here, we understand the need for the drop-off and for deliveries of vehicles. In our proposed construction plans, a little bit farther south towards Wanda Jackson Alley, we've increased the median width in that location for them to park their delivery vehicles and such a little bit farther to the south. It would then be advisable for the delivery folks to park in the median, much like they do north of the Bricktown Canal area, and go adjacent to, cross at Wanda Jackson Alley, take the ramp up to this point here to whereas they could load into the west side of the building. And also with our proposed improvements, we're adding an ADA compliant ramp to eliminate the non-functional wheelchair lifts that are adjacent out in front of the Kingman building. So we'll have another point of access for ADA compliance on the front side or the canal side of their building as well. So we do try to make some concessions if we are allowed to remove the lay-by here, forced deliveries as far as people dropping off kids in front of the school at this location. That lay-by is really fairly narrow, maybe one, maybe two cars at the most could get in there at a time. So if they're dropping off at 8:30 in the morning, for instance, if there's several cars stacked up there, they're still going to be stacked up out into the driving into the vehicular lanes as it is.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak on this item? Okay, staff input, please.
Okay, you've got all our comments before you. Just want to reiterate the purpose of a commercial and passenger loading zone on public roadways is to set aside curb space for the express purpose of delivering and receiving goods and merchandise and providing locations where drivers may pick up and drop off passengers. In downtown areas where off-site private parking facilities are not required for every development, such zones help provide for the delivery needs of businesses and residents by providing these short-term use zones. In the absence of a collision experience in the vicinity of the existing commercial and passenger loading zone, removal of the zone is a discretionary action. Eliminating the zone and the lay-by will not prevent the same curb space from being utilized for commercial and passenger loading purposes, which is allowed under Section 32-313. So in that regard, this particular lay-by is, although it is close to a pedestrian crossing, is frequently used for the Bricktown area. So it's going to be kind of a discretionary action on the part of the commission, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on it.
Stuart, what's the required distance between the ADA accessible crossing and the lay-by that's needed?
The way our codes are structured, you have to be 20 feet away, but at an intersection. Since this is not an intersection location, I don't think there's an absolute separation. I wouldn't necessarily say that the lay-by in its current location is probably the best suited location for it, since the north end of the lay-by is right at the crosswalk.
That's my question, is if there is no minimum distance, it seems like it could be shifted south 20 or 30 feet and still, be usable and still allow for a safe crossing.
Sir? Would you have a comment about maybe just moving that layback down a little bit?
That is a good comment. We would be open to looking at that. The challenge will be, as you can see in the lower picture right there, if we are to move that back, there's a set of stairs that goes into the building on the west side. We wouldn't want to impede that, but we would be very open to adjusting that lay-by a little bit farther back if that would be suitable for the commission and the owners and tenants of the building.
Okay, then we go on back here to the building manager. Let's see how he reacts to this.
We'd be agreeable to that. We'd also ask for it to be expanded to facilitate more than 2 or 3 vehicles at a time.
Or as large as it
As
could be
large.
from the corner of the alley? Because you got the alley that comes in at the back of the building,
correct.
right? So I'm sure there would be some distance you would want from the corner of the alley before you start that setback, and then up to the intersection up to the crosswalk to maintain the ADA concern. So that might be even a little bit bigger.
That is correct. And those entrances on the west side of the building, if you could go back to the picture, so that ramp, and then also where you see the for lease sign by Price Edwards, there's an entrance right there. Those will be the 2 main entrances that the charter school will use to facilitate their kids moving in and out.
Okay, so would you guys be willing to talk about it and work with the city and come up with a solution that would be able to work that, and then maybe
Yeah.
come back next month?
So would it be time for a motion to table this item until both parties have a chance to negotiate and get with the city?
Counselor? Okay, yep.
I'd like to make that motion, that it be tabled until these gentlemen have an opportunity to visit and get it worked out.
Okay, hold on one second.
We need to have a definite date. Do you want it for?
Do it by next meeting in a month?
To get it negotiated between the 2 parties and to bring it before the commission next month, at next month's meeting.
Right, and if they bring in, if there's a negotiated solution that's done, then we just need to be made aware of it. So what we would wind up doing is probably being in a position to approve this particular item the way it's presented, but probably need to have a follow-on item for the creation of another passenger loading zone further to the south on Oklahoma Avenue.
Right, yeah, we would do the motion to get rid of this one with that there be another one.
That's correct, but you'd have to
Something
have,
like that.
we'd have to identify another location.
Okay, so you're saying do not table this motion, but just deny this one?
No, I think your action, if you wanted to.
Okay, just table it.
Yeah, because
That's
that
fine.
means
Yeah,
that the
just
next
that next
meeting.
month they would bring both.
Right.
You would have to get rid of this one because of the actual size that's there, and then consider their recommendation of a new location.
Well, then I'll stand by my motion to have it tabled and to have them bring it forward next month.
Just a second. Okay, so, hold on one second. So we have a motion, from Commissioner Hale to defer item 5C to the February meeting. Do we have a second on that issue?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Clare. And now, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sounds fine, but I want to make sure, it seems like we could go ahead and deny this today and have them come back with one that would work. Because I think it's incredibly important to have a loading zone there. Okay, so, I mean, we can table it this way, but, you know, I could also just deny this today, and they can bring back a new one that's bigger and move to the south some, which would be fine too, right?
Well, but there wouldn't be any benefit in turning this particular request down.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to make sure we knew where I stood, that they need that there. I mean, it's a very busy loading zone for trucks. All the produce comes in that way, I mean, for all the restaurants there and stuff, so.
And when it comes to things like passenger loading zones, the commission is the final authority on those. Unless there's an item like removing metered parking or something like that, which requires an ordinance by the city council. In this particular case, it's all a no parking zone, so any action by the commission at the next meeting would be final, and then whatever configuration for the loading zone would be approved at that time, and it could be done.
Okay. Any other talk on item 5C? We have a motion to defer item 5C to the February meeting by Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Clare. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, items pushed. Thank you. We go to item 5D, Steve Scoville, NCARB Executive Director of Facilities and Construction Management, Oklahoma Christian University, to consider a request for a mid-block pedestrian crossing on Benson Road, approximately 225 feet south of the south curb line of Branch Road. Sir? All right, I have your sheet. If I have your name, address, you have up to 5 minutes.
Steve Scoville, 1300 Ridgecrest Road, Edmond. The reason for this request is in the past, the university's had two underutilized buildings, Heritage Plaza and Heritage Village, both located on the east side of Benson Road, just east of our main campus. And the Heritage Plaza building is a building that is currently being transitioned into to be used really totally by our College of Natural Health Science, which is really our nursing program. And we currently really have no safe, accessible access from the west side of Benson Road, which is our main campus, to the Heritage Plaza building. And so that's the purpose for the request for the mid-block crossing.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else wanted to speak on item 5D? Okay, staff input, please.
All right, you've got our comments before you. This would be basically adding a third mid-block crossing on Benson Road. There have been no, in reviewing the comprehensive collision history for Benson Road, there have been no reported incidents at either of the other locations. I want to point out that in the applicant's letter they had mentioned that they would take care of basically constructing the entire crossing, but if approved, their obligation would be to construct the ADA facilities leading into the crossing. The city would take care of providing markings and signage, and if the university wanted to provide like an LED enhanced sign, then you could provide that and the city would install it. But happy to answer any other questions that the commission have.
In the event the university would want to, either at this crossing or one of the other two crossings, put in an audible crossing for a visual impaired person, would that be a request I would bring before the
It would,
commissioners?
because at that point in time, you're no longer, you're asking for basically a traffic signal.
Okay. Okay.
And that'd be very different.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Very good. Does the motion have to make the comment with staff recommendation? Staff for comments, okay. Okay, do we have a motion concerning 5D?
I move the application be approved.
Subject to
staff's recommendation, right.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item 5D by Commissioner Schuline with staff comments. We have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Hale. Okay, any discussion on 5D? Okay, we have a motion to approve item 5D with staff comments from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner Hale. Can I have your votes, please? Okay, item is approved. Okay, we now go to item 6, comments from citizens. Anybody want to talk? Sir? No, nothing to say. Anybody else want to talk? Now's a great time. No? Even better. Okay. We now go to reports and other items from the traffic commissioners. We'll start over there at number 1 to Commissioner Clare.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Littlefield.
I just want to comment, I want to congratulate John Milner and comment that John and I have worked together on and off in different arenas in neighborhood work over the years and the Neighborhood Alliance, and I believe that this gentleman is going to be an excellent asset to this commission and to the city.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're going now to Commissioner Hale.
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Schuline.
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner George. And over to Commissioner Milner. You got anything?
I have nothing.
Even better. You're going to fit right in. We got the captain back here. So if there's any Bricktown issues, he's the Bricktown guy. And of course, he represents the whole city here for us. So welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Lieutenant Witten is retired, so I don't know who will take his place and sometimes make these meetings, but I will be here in his absence.
Outstanding.
Thank you all.
Counselor, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Staff?
Outside of our standard report at the end of your agenda regarding administratively installed yield signs and parking controls, I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Does anybody else have any business? Oh, yes, sir. Please.
I've been meaning to ask this, and I keep forgetting. Since the ride-sharing, Uber and Lyft way of getting around has come into the city and into the state, is there any knowledge or statistics or information if that's benefited DUI driving from the Bricktown area, or has there really been a positive impact on that?
I don't have any information as far as numbers. I can tell you from experience with my second shift Bricktown the officers that are assigned to the Bricktown. I work basically Friday, Saturday nights, the big nights in Bricktown, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. We see an increase of Uber drivers being utilized. Usually about the time bars close, 1:20 to 1:50 in the morning, you can see them lined up along Sheridan. So there are a lot of people that are utilizing the Uber for transportation in and around the entertainment districts and the bars.
Good news. Thanks.
But would you say there's, just in a general trend in the last 2 years, has there been a decrease in DUIs out in the area, or are we pretty much the same, nothing noticeable?
I wouldn't want to comment on numbers for sure. I mean, I would think that, I would hate to even get an idea of the traffic guys do more as far as the DUI, counting DUIs for the year and things like that. But I would not think that it's reduced it that much. I'm sure it's reduced it a little bit, but not that much.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, anything else? Anybody else have any business for the commission? All right, we stand adjourned.